Good morning. I'm Deputy Chief Hassan Ramzah, Investigations Division. This is going to be a follow-up in regards to the homicide that occurred at WSU at 2221 North Hillside on Saturday, August 8th. With me this morning is Chief Sara Morris with the WSU Police Department. Just a synopsis about the incident. Approximately 06:28 hours on Saturday, August 8th, officers responded to check a man down at 2221 North Hillside. Upon arrival, officers discovered a 23-year-old male laying next to a vehicle unresponsive. The male had been shot multiple times. He was transported to the hospital where he's pronounced dead at 7 a.m. that morning. Wichita State University Police Department, with the assistance of Wichita Police Department, began investigating the case. Investigators worked tirelessly throughout the weekend, interviewing numerous people and following up on several leads regarding this case. On Sunday, August 9th, investigators developed information leading to two persons of interest. Based on the extensive follow-up on this case, two individuals were taken into custody and arrested in relation to this case. Those are a 19-year-old female and a 23-year-old male. Again, both these individuals were taken in for questioning and later booked for felony murder. The victim in the case has a first name, Rayyan, R-A-Y-A-N, Ibrahim, I-B-A-R-H-I-M, Baba, B-A-B-A. He's a 23-year-old male. I want to highlight in this case that this incident was not a random act. Investigators learned throughout the investigation that our victim arranged to meet these individuals at his dorm, and they were acquaintances. Again, these individuals were located on Saturday night. They were found at approximately 4:30 in the afternoon, and investigators developed probable cause to book both of these individuals for felony murder in this case.
And you said they were about 4:30 afternoon Sunday?
That's correct.
You said Saturday. They were found 4:30 p.m. Saturday or Sunday?
On Sunday.
Is there any motive at this point in time?
Right now, this case is still under investigation. We have some additional follow-up to do at this point, so we're not ready to release any other information in terms of what we see as a motive at this point.
The victim was a tenant at Fairmont Towers, correct?
Correct.
I had somebody ask me, did this happen in the parking lot or did this happen somewhere else and he just ended up getting to the parking lot?
This occurred in the parking lot.
You said this wasn't a random act. He arranged to meet with the victims. Do you know exactly why they planned to meet together? Was it that they planned to meet in the parking lot?
They were acquainted with each other, and they arranged to meet in the parking lot.
Do you know the reason why they were meeting, just to hang out, or?
Right now, we're still doing some additional follow-up into that. There's a number of details in this case we still have to follow up on in regards to that. We can say that they were acquainted. Again, they were familiar with each other, and again, it's not an instance where it's a random meeting.
When I was at the scene, I noticed there was this blue Infiniti, very nice car. It looked like the front window was shut out. Are there any reports of damage from the gunfire going off as well as the victim being hit?
I don't have any information on that right now to show that there's some other damage. Again, we're looking at this case extensively. Detectives, investigators have spent numerous hours on this case and are continuing to do so in concert with the Wichita State Police Department.
The two people that were taken in for questioning, do they attend WSU or are they not affiliated?
Right now, I don't have any information at this time to link them to WSU at this point, but again, the investigation is ongoing.
Do either of them have a criminal record?
That I don't know at this point in time. Again, we're looking at looking at all facets of the case and these individuals.
You said the Wichita State Police Chief is here as well.
That's correct.
Is he going to come up and talk real quick? Just out of curiosity, we'd like to get a statement from, what security is going to change or if anything.
Hi, I am Chief Sara Morris with the Wichita State University Police Department. And right off the bat, what we want to do is thank the Wichita Police Department for assisting us with this investigation. They have that manpower and the resources available that really aided us in this. The other thing we really want to reiterate is like what Deputy Chief Ramzah said, as far as this is an isolated incident. This type of incident could occur anywhere in the city or anywhere in front of somebody's house, at any place. It just unfortunately occurred at Wichita State University. As they stated, the suspects were acquainted with the victim. Arrangements were made, so they came to the campus. The campus is, as we will continue to say, a safe environment for our students and our community, and we want to be sure people understand that, and that currently right now we're working with groups on campus to meet with students and faculty, staff, people that need to visit with us to discuss ways to help them cope with this incident, since it is something that does not happen on our campus, hasn't occurred since back in the 90s. And so that's kind of where it is. We're continuing to work with the Wichita Police Department to conclude this investigation and get all the loose ends wrapped up.
Over the weekend, we got a figure, July 1993, last time a shooting happened on campus.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the last that you know of?
The last homicide that occurred yes, and that was that 4th of July celebration, and occurred in Coke Arena parking lot.
I've also noticed that in the past few years you've added security gates to Fairmount Parks. There is increased measures there for security. Can you talk about those that are there right now?
Well, that's true, and we're constantly evolving, as we grow the things, with Shocker Hall being on campus. Gates were added to the Fairmont Towers parking lot that are secure. They can only be activated by residents. And so, again, that is more leaning towards the isolated incident of someone having to be allowed onto our campus for something like this to occur.
So given what happened, there's really no plan of changing security or adding patrols based off you saying this is an isolated incident?
Correct.
You're saying that a resident has to activate the gates. Does that mean that the victim had to activate the gates for the suspects to get into the parking lot then? We're
Looking at that as what could possibly have occurred, because it's really, if people walk up on foot, they can walk around the gates, but if they happen to have come in through a vehicle or something, that would be the only way, is that somebody activated that gate to allow them in.
Lighting in the parking lot, I know that was a concern for students that I talked to. Are you going to look into lighting changes as far as like at nighttime, for, like you just mentioned, that people can basically just walk up, you need a pass to get in? Is that something that you might look into for parking lot lighting?
As it is right now, that parking lot is very well lit. It really is. Anytime any type of incident happens, that's always a big thing. Everybody wants more lighting, more patrol. And like I said, if you go back through the crime statistics and everything on campus, it is a very safe campus. And, we have increased the number of officers with the increased number of students living on campus in Shocker Hall. So, we're growing.
For parents, students that are concerned, what can you say to them that will calm their fears a little bit?
That's hard to do, because it's a perception of crime that law enforcement agencies are constantly battling, is a perception of crime versus reality. And the reality here is this is an isolated incident that could have happened anywhere when a victim knows their suspects and they arrange to meet. That meeting could be anywhere. At this point, it occurred on our campus because the victim was living on our campus right now. So I would refer them to look at our crime logs from clear back, years, and see that our campus is a safe campus. Come and meet with the officers. We do safety presentations all the time. Our big issue is we want to be out there interacting with our community, meeting the students, and the goal is ultimately to help alleviate that perception of crime or a fear of crime.
The student that was killed, can you go into his major, where he's originally from? Do you know that?
I do, but at this point, we're just going to hang on to that with the process of the investigation. But I will tell you that he was not enrolled to continue with us into the fall semester, so he was preparing to move off of campus. Anything else?
Saturday, there were no witnesses to what happened. There were no reports of gunshots being heard. Has that changed at all from either?
There were actually gunshots heard, but not identified as to where or anything like that. At this point, we don't have any specific witnesses that I'm aware of, so it's just coming together.
I do have a follow-up question for the deputy chief as far as where the gunshots, was he shot inside of the car or was he shot outside of the car? Were there bullet holes that went through the window?
Based on our preliminary information that we have, we do not believe he was shot inside of the vehicle.
It was my understanding he was outside in the parking lot, but not in a vehicle, correct?
That is our understanding at this point.
Can you give us an estimate on how many shots were fired? Are we talking 3 or 4? More than a handful? What?
I don't have that information right now in terms of how many. Again, we're still doing some follow-up into that portion of it.
Did the tips that led to the arrest, did they come through something like Crime Stoppers, or was it just talking to people who knew people, or can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, the investigation itself, which led to the culmination of the arrest in this case, again, involved follow-up by the Wichita Police Department and the Wichita State Police Department. Again, looking at a variety of different evidence found on scene, and then again working very closely with using some of the information that was provided by individuals during interviews that were acquainted with our victim. And again, the detectives spent a significant amount of time over the weekend, like I said, putting together information in regards to this case, which again led to the arrest. To answer your question, no specific tips were used for this case this weekend.
Yeah, because sometimes people are curious if it was a Crime Stoppers tip or something like that.
Correct. No, that's not the case this weekend.